Okay, so this is 2.1, solving multi-step equations. At any point, if you need to pause it to catch up writing, you can pause the video. You'll need paper and a calculator and something to write with, okay? So let's go ahead and get it started. Write down number 1 on your paper, and let's do it. So, first thing you're going to do when solving an equation with variables on both sides is you're going to draw a line through the middle of your equal sign. Okay, that's step 1. Your steps for solving equations. The first thing we're always going to do, and I would write these down, we're going to combine like terms. That's first. Combine like terms. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to move the x to the left. Third thing we're going to do is we're going to move the number to the right. Fourth thing we're going to do is divide. And that will give us our answer. So those are our steps. Combine like terms. We're going to move the x to the left. We're going to move the number to the right. And the last step is divide. Okay? If you can remember those 4 steps, you can solve pretty much every equation that we're going to do. So let's start. What do I mean when I say combine like terms? Well, we just did a worksheet on that. Look at this left-hand side. Can I combine those? 3x and 2. Hopefully, you know the answer is no. You cannot combine them because that 3 has an x and the 2 does not. How about the right-hand side? 4x minus 1. Can I combine those? No, because the 4 has the x and the 1 does not. So I have already done step 1, okay? I have combined like terms because there's nothing I can combine. So I'm going to move on to step 2. Step 2 says move the x left. So I'm going to look on this right-hand side over here. I'm looking right here. And I want to move this x, this 4x, to the left. And the way you move things is to do the opposite, okay? So if it's a positive 4x, the way I'm going to move it is to subtract 4x. And if I do it on the left side, I'm going to do it on the right side. Now, I want to pause for just a second and talk about some stuff. If you notice, I subtracted the 4x right underneath it, right? Because I'm moving it and it's going to go away. So these cancel out. When I wrote it on the left-hand side, please notice, where did I write it? I wrote it underneath the 3x. Because if you're moving an x, you can only combine it with another x. Okay, so I did not write it underneath the 2 because the 2 does not have an x. So in your calculator, if you don't know what this is, type in 3 minus 4. I do know what it is. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. And I'm going to put my x with it. So that was step 2. Move the x to the left. I'm going to bring down everything else. So I'm going to bring down plus 2. Look on the right-hand side. What would I bring down over there? Hopefully you don't say 1 because it's not 1. It's a negative 1. Okay? So that's step 2. Move the x to the left. Step 3 is move the number to the right. Now, when I say number, I mean the number that doesn't have the x. So I want to move the 2. I want to move that 2 to the right. So the opposite of a plus 2 is a minus 2. And I'm going to do it on both sides. Minus 2, minus 2. So these 2's cancel. Again, if you don't know negative 1 minus 2, do it in your calculator. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. And over on the left-hand side, I'm going to bring down negative 1x. Your last step is to divide. So I'm going to take this negative 1, not because it's multiplying. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. I'm going to divide by negative 1. And my answer, negative 3 divided by negative 1, is 3. Now, what does this mean? Why did we do this? What is the point of all of this? This answer, this x equals 3, means if I go back to my original problem and I plug in 3, I plugged in a 3 for x. So if I plugged in a 3 here and a 3 here, 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 plus 2 is 11. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 1 is 11. So what this answer means is if I plugged in a 3, I would get the same thing on both sides. So these are pretty easy to check your answer. There's no reason you should not make 100, because every answer you can plug it in. And if you don't get the same thing on both sides, then you did something wrong and we need to try it again. Okay? Let's go and do example 2. So write this one down. Draw a line through your equal sign. Step 1 was to combine like terms. So look on the left, 8y minus 9. I can't combine those. Look on the right, 3y plus 2, negative 3y plus 2. I can't combine those. Okay, so I'm done with step 1, combine like terms. Step 2 said move the x to the left. Well, this one doesn't have an x, so we're just going to change x to y. We're going to move the y to the left. So here's my y. I want to move it to the left. So the way you move things is to do the opposite. So instead of a negative 3, I'm going to put plus 3y. And over here, you want to figure out, where should I put it? Where should I write this? And hopefully you remember from the last problem, you're going to write it underneath the other y, plus 3y. So right here, these cancel, and you want to do this addition. 8 plus 3 is 11y. And then I'm going to bring down the minus 9, and over on the right hand side, I'm going to bring down the 2. Alright, so that was step 2. We've done that. Step 3 was to move the number to the right. So I want to move this 9. The opposite of minus 9 is plus 9. So I'm going to do plus 9 on the left. Oops. And I'm going to do plus 9 on the right. So your 9's go away. I'm going to bring down 11y. And 2 plus 9 is 11. Your fourth step is to divide. So I'm going to divide by 11 on the left, divide by 11 on the right. These cancel. 11 divided by 11 is 1. Again, I like to check my answer. So I'm going to plug in 1 here. I'm going to plug in 1 here. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 minus 9 is negative 1. Let's see if we get the same thing over here. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3 plus 2. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So I got the same answer on both sides, so I know that y equals 1 is the correct answer. Example 3, write this one down. Draw a line through your middle. This one's a little bit different because look at that x. There is nothing with it, but y'all know this. We've done this a lot. If there's no number there, we can really put a 1, okay? So step 1, see if you can combine like terms. On the left, I got 3 minus 4x. Those cannot combine. On the right, I got 18 plus 1x. Those cannot combine. So I'm just going to start by moving the x to the left. So I want to take this 1x, I want to move it left. And the opposite of adding is subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 1x. Again, please note that I lined up my x's together. Okay? So 1x minus 1x goes away. Here, look at this. See if you can figure out what you would type in your calculator right here. If you do 4 minus 1, you are wrong. Okay? You've got to take this negative with it. So in your calculator, you would type in negative 4 minus 1. Negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5x. I'm going to bring this 3 down. And on the right hand side, I'm going to bring down 18. Okay? 3 is to move your number to the right. So I'm going to take this 3. It's a positive. The opposite of positive is a negative. So I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. My 3's go away. I'm going to bring down negative 5x. Here, 18 minus 3 is 15. 18 minus 3 is 15. Last step, step 4, is to divide. So I'm going to divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. So these cancel. 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. You could plug it into both sides and you would get 15 as your answer on both sides. If you want to double check me, please do, but know that that answer is correct. Example 4. Here we go. Draw a line through the middle of your equal sign. This one's a little bit different. We're going to start the same way, okay? Combine like terms. Is there anything to combine over here? No, it's just a 4. So I'm going to bring that down. Here, can I combine like terms? Yes. Hopefully you see 7x minus 3x. I already know that is 4x. Now, normally step 2, I would say move your x to the left, move your number to the right. But there's not like lots of stuff on both sides like there were on the other problems. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to flip-flop these, okay? And that's allowed. So I'm going to put the 4x over here, and I'm going to put the 4 over here, okay? You can flip-flop those. So now my x is on the left and my number is on the right, just like I wanted. And my last step is to divide. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And again, you can plug it in. So let me show you how this would work. I'd plug in a 1 here, and I'd plug in a 1 here. 7 times 1 is 7, minus 3 times 1 is 3. 7 minus 3 is 4, which is what this side says. So I know that answer is correct. Example 5. Let's look at this one. Again, draw your answer, or draw your line through your equal sign. Okay, first step was to combine. Well, look over here on the left. I can't combine, but if there is a number outside of the parentheses, that means distribute. So I'm going to multiply here, and I'm going to multiply here. So negative 7 times x is just negative 7x. So here I got negative 7x. Remember, if you're confused how I got that, we can put a 1 here, and negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. Look at the second distribution though. What should you type in your calculator here? You should type in negative 7 times what? Hopefully you did not say 3. You should type negative 7 times negative 3. And negative 7 times negative 3 is a positive 21. And I'm going to bring down negative 7 on the right hand side. Now, second step. Well, can I combine anything now? No, because over here I have a negative 7x plus 21. Those can't combine. Okay, and over here I just have negative 7, so there's nothing to combine. Step 2 was to move my x to the left. Well, look, there's no x to move, so I'm done with step 2. Step 3 is to move your number to the right. So I'm going to take this 21, I'm going to move it. And the opposite of plus is minus 21. Minus 21. So your 21s cancel. Negative 7 minus 21 is negative 28. I'm going to bring down negative 7x over here. And your last step is to divide. So I'm going to divide by negative 7 here. Divide by negative 7 here. And negative 28 divided by negative 7 is positive 4. So that is number 5. Let's do number 6. again, on the left side, there's nothing I can combine, but I can distribute. So I'm going to put a 1 in front of this x. 3 times 1 is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. I just multiplied that 3. I'm going to do the same thing over here. This x gets a 1. So I'm going to multiply here and here. 2 times 1x is 2x. 2 times negative 1, you got to do that negative. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Okay, so that's step 1. You're really just distributing. There's nothing I can combine. Over here on the left, I have 3x plus 12. On the right, I have 2x minus 2. None of those can be combined. So I'm going to move on to step 2. Step 2 says move your x to the left. So it's a positive 2x. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. 3x minus 2x is just 1x. I'm going to bring everything up. These cancel. So I'm going to bring down a negative 2. That's step 2. Move your x left. Step 3, if you remember, was move your number to the right. So I'm going to do minus 12, minus 12. So I have 1x equals negative 2 minus 12 is negative 14. Last step is to divide. Divide by 1. And negative 14 divided by 1 is negative 14. So that's your answer for number 6. Sometimes you're going to get something that's called a contradiction. Contradiction means it's never true. You need to write this down. Okay? Contradiction is never true. You also need to write down example 8. So pause it and do that, and then we'll do the problem. So these problems are going to start the exact same way. Step 1, combine like terms. Well, look on the left side. I got 2x plus 5, those don't combine. I got 2x minus 3, those don't combine. Step 2, move your x to the left. So I'm going to do minus 2x, minus 2x. Again, we're lining up our x's, so these go away. On the left side, what's 2x minus 2x? Nothing. So these go away also. So I'm going to bring down a 5. I'm going to bring down a negative 3. Here's how you know it's a contradiction. My x's went away, right? They're gone. You look at it and say, wait a second, I got that 5 equals negative 3. Is that true? Does 5 equal negative 3? No. 5 equals 5, and negative 3 equals negative 3. They don't equal each other. So if you get something like this that makes absolutely no sense, 5 does not equal negative 3, then you're going to put no solution. That's how you know it's a contradiction, okay? We're not going to write contradiction, we're just going to write no solution. So let's talk for a second about what that means. That means there is no number that we could plug in to x so that we would get the same thing on both sides. There's nothing, okay? There is no number, there's no solution that we could plug in for x so that we get the same answer on the left and the right, okay? That's a contradiction. An identity is when it's always true, okay? So write down example 9, and then we'll do it. So, example 9, let's solve it. This x gets a 1. I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to multiply. 3 times 1x is 3x. 3 times 1 is 3. I just distributed that 3. Why would I not distribute it to the negative 5? Hopefully in your head you're saying, because it's not in the parentheses, okay? If it's not in the parentheses, don't distribute to it. So I'm just going to bring down minus 5. On the right-hand side, nothing can be combined, so I'm just going to bring that down. Now let's look. Are we done with step 1? Did we combine everything that can be combined? Hopefully in your head you're saying no, because if you look at the left-hand side right here, we can combine those. So I'm going to bring down 3x. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So take a second, pause, and think in your head, Do I understand what she just did? Hopefully it's yes. I just combined 3 minus 5 and got negative 2. On the right hand side, I'm going to bring this down. 3x minus 2. We're ready to move on to step 2. Step 2 says move your x to the left. So the opposite of a positive 3x is a minus 3x. I'm going to do it on both sides. 3x minus 3x is nothing. So look what's left. I have negative 2 on the left, and I have negative 2 on the right. Does negative 2 equal negative 2? Yes. So if your x's go away, and it's true, negative 2 does equal negative 2, then your answer is all solutions. Okay? So we have two options if your x's cancel. It's either no solution, and that's when they don't equal each other, or it could be an identity, and it could be all solutions, and that's when they do equal each other. Okay, so we're going to do some problems like this. Write down example 10, and let's do it. First step, combine like terms. There's nothing to combine on the left. There's nothing to combine on the right. So I'm going to go ahead to step 2. Move your x to the left. So I'm going to do minus 12x, minus 12x. These cancel. 12 minus 12 also cancels. So on the left side, I'm going to bring down negative 3. On the right side, I'm going to bring down negative 3. Does negative 3 equal negative 3? Yes. So your answer is all solutions. Oh, I didn't talk about what that really means. Let's pause for a second and talk about what that means. That means, whereas no solution meant we could nothing we could plug in to make each side equal, all solution means it doesn't matter what you pick, both sides are going to equal. So let me show you. I'm going to pick a 1 first. I'm going to plug a 1 in and a 1 in. 12 times 1 is 12, and negative 3 plus 12 is 9. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. 1 works, so would 2. If we plugged 2 in, we'd get the same thing. So would 3, so would negative 500. Any number we pick to plug in is going to work. That's what all solutions means. Woo! Here's a fun one. All right, write this down. It looks hard, but it's not going to be that bad. Step 1, combine like terms. So I'm going to look at this left-hand side. Hopefully, from your combining like terms worksheet, you know the first thing I'm going to do is distribute. So I'm going to pull 1 with this x, and then here I'm going to distribute, and again, put a 1 with that x. So, negative 8 times 1 is negative 8x. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. Take a second, look at that, make sure we're good. Okay? Here I'm going to multiply again. This is a positive 3 times x is a positive 3x. Positive 3 times negative 2 is a, no it's not. Positive 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. On the right hand side, there's nothing to distribute or combine, so I'm just going to bring this down. So let's look at this and see, are we done with step 1? Has everything been combined? And hopefully you're saying no. I can combine these x's, right? Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5x. Now, is there anything else that can be combined? Yes. I can combine negative 8 minus 6. Negative 8 minus 6 is negative 14. And I'm going to bring down the right-hand side. So again, take a pause right here. Make sure that makes sense. I combine my x's and I combine my whole numbers. Okay? So now I'm ready to move on to step 2. Step 2 says, move your x's to the left. So the opposite of a negative is a positive. And again, I line my x with my x. So 3x's go away. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2x. I'm going to bring down minus 14. I'm going to bring down 2. Step 3, move your number to the right. So the opposite of minus 14 is plus 14. So 14s go away. So I have negative 2x equals, here 2 plus 14 is 16. Step 4 is to divide. So I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. 16 divided by negative 2 is negative 8. So even though this problem looked really gross, if you just do your 4 steps, you will get the right answer, and it's really not too bad. Let's do example 12. I think, yep, last one. All right, here we go. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to bring this 5 down. I'm going to distribute this 2 here and here. And give that x a 1. So 2 times 1 is a positive 2x. 2 times 4 is a positive 8. So take a look at that left side, make sure we're good. Here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to distribute. This x gets a 1. 2 times 1x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. I'm going to bring down plus 10. Again, you don't distribute to the 10 because it's not in the parentheses. All right, we're still not done with step 1 because we can combine like terms. On the left, hopefully you see, hey, I can combine those. 5 plus 8 is 13. I'm going to bring down plus 2x. Hopefully on the right you see, hey look, I can combine those. Negative 6 plus 10. I'm going to bring down 2x. Negative 6 plus 10 is a positive 4. All right, step 2 says move the x to the left. So the opposite of a positive 2x is a negative 2x. So these cancel. On the left side, 2x minus 2x is nothing. So I have a 13, and on the right I have a 4. So when your x's are gone, you look and say, does this make sense? Does 13 equal 4? No. And if it doesn't make sense, then your answer is no solution. So if you will try worksheet 2.1, it's a Google Doc. Whatever your answer is, you'll just type it in. So like here, I wouldn't put, well here I'd put no solution, but like for this problem, I would not put x equals negative 8. Just put negative 8, okay? You don't have to put x equals or y equals. You can just put the answer. So the answer was negative 8, so that's what I would put in the Google Doc, okay? Good luck. Call us over if you need any help.